Hello, welcome back. This is Si Wing Yi, and my co-host is Mr. Justin Zawodny from Southwest Florida. How are you, Justin?
Doing great, Mr. E. It's great to be back.
Very good. So, Justin, and he is my network team in Southwest Florida for a number of years now, and we have a very good relationship. A number of our investors have consistently purchased turnkey rental properties in this market. And we are very happy with the experience from our investors. They have some giving us our network a rave reviews on Justin Zawodny is amazing client service. He also owns a property management team. He's a one-stop shop out-of-state investors. When you invest in this market for the long term, you could be assured that Justin, he have this really core value that we instill within our network, and that he's Justin, very transparent. He's very honest. He does a real good job. He cares for the investor. He provides outstanding service, like I said, and he touch bases with our investors consistently over time. And as a matter of fact, Justin, on a per client basis, has received more referrals from our satisfied investors that purchased from him initially on a per case basis than any other network that we have with our other markets. So also show you that, Justin, when you buy your first property, that's not the end. That's the beginning of a relationship, long-term relationship. He'll take care of your assets for generations to come, because anyway, before Justin start this, I just want to let you know that he has boots on the ground because he live it. He know the neighborhoods. He know the economic data in his market, Southwest Florida, and that he's boots on the ground allow him to know exactly what neighborhoods to buy. He know the economic data. He know all the growth metrics and what areas to buy. Everybody need to be aware that real estate is local. Everything you hear from the mainstream media or social media or Instagram or YouTube, anything negative or otherwise about Florida or specifically around Southwest Florida, I caution you to get the most credible information about risk investing from Justin Zawodny. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome Justin Zawodny. Go ahead and welcome and go over your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. E. We're here for investors just like yours. That was what my company was founded with the intent to do. We're here for the remote, out of state, out of area real estate investor. And the goal is to make out of state investing as simple and transparent and easy as possible. I would imagine most of your owners spend under a half hour per month working on their investment properties. And that's the way we like to keep it. We're also a one-stop shop, which just adds to that simplicity, to that ease. We start when an investor goes to you, says, hey, so we're really interested in Southwest Florida. You connect them with me. And then from there, we identify the property. We represent them through the purchasing process. Once they own the home, immediately become that property manager, leasing out the home, managing the home. And then years and years down the road, when it's time to sell it, capture all of the appreciation that they have. We are a full service real estate brokerage. We absolutely can list the home, usually at a severe discount compared to a lot of competitors, and help them make the most money possible. Always having that one person to contact. Every investor that I manage homes for as my personal cell phone number. If they have a question, a problem, they always know they can text me, call me. Even if I can't answer at that moment, I'm always right back in touch as soon as possible, usually within a couple of minutes. And just trying to keep everything as clear and simple for them as it possibly can be. I think that's pretty different from what a lot of other companies offer. But going through the blueprint here, what is the plan that works for out-of-state investors? There's a lot to it that we offer. First thing is new builds. We specialize in new construction. A majority of the homes that investors from your network are buying, they're new construction homes. They're built by a branch of D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton is the largest home builder in the nation, which comes with reliability, which comes with accountability when it comes to warranty programs. And it's been a really good option. The new builds comes with a lot of advantages. First, it's brand new. We get top market rent when we put it up on the market because the person moving in is the first person to live in it. Everything is brand new and perfect. The advantage of low maintenance costs. Everything is brand new. All of the appliances are under a warranty from the manufacturer. All of the finishes are under warranty for a year. If there's any problems, we get the owner back out there to repair that. We handle all of that coordination, and there's no expense to the owner because of it. And even, through year 5, 6, 7, we're going to see decreased maintenance as opposed to if we're going to buy an established property that's been lived in for 5 or 10 or 15 years. And that's a huge advantage. We also have better locations. I'm obviously biased, but I think Southwest Florida is one of the best real estate markets in the country. We have a population that continues to increase every single year. The greater Fort Myers area is continuing to expand year after year. And that just puts a bigger and bigger demand on housing. We need more homes for people to live in. There's not enough homes as it is. And with that, it means that sourcing tenants is much better than other areas. The appreciation is much better as well because there's not enough homes for people to live in. We're a location that people want to live in. As remote work becomes more and more common across the United States, people continue to leave the snow, to leave the winters, come down here to Southwest Florida, where it's beautiful all year long. I don't see that trend changing anytime soon. It year after year continues to happen. And we also have a large number of people who retire down here. They want to come down, they lease the home, they stay here for maybe 8 months of the year, and then they go back home for the winters. But they continue to rent from you on that annual lease because it's cheaper than renting something seasonally. There's just a lot of options that come with Southwest Florida, a lot of growth that we continue to see here in Southwest Florida. And I think that just makes it one of the best locations you could own real estate in right now. The high quality tenants, that's something I personally take a lot of pride in. I think that we do a better job of researching, looking through applications, verifying information, and making sure that we're placing the best tenants possible. Our turnover rates are very strong. You don't see a lot of issues with turnover because we're finding tenants who are a lot of times even overqualified. There's really not a financial stress typically with our tenants paying the rent. And because our management is so strong, we're taking care of maintenance so quickly. They stay very happy. They understand that we're going to treat them as best as we possibly can. And they want to stay in our homes because of that. But we have some tenants who have lived in homes for coming up on 5 years now, which is as long as we've been around. It's truthfully something I do take a lot of pride in, making sure that we're putting the right tenants in homes, that we're not just accepting anybody, even though we know it's not going to be possible for them to keep up with them, because that's not fair to the tenant who's going to end up in trouble. It's also not fair to the owner who's going to end up dealing with hardship down the road when rent isn't being paid. We want to make sure everything stays as smooth as possible. And that's with those high quality tenants. The low maintenance cost we discussed, everything is brand new. Everything is maintained. We put together a maintenance plan for all of the properties. One of the things that we've really worked a lot on this year is keeping our air conditioning systems more reliable long term. There's nothing worse than having a holiday weekend and getting that maintenance request come in Friday at 6:30, because now we have to pay holiday fees, emergency repair fees, things like that. We've partnered with local air conditioning companies to put our homes on annual maintenance plans where they're getting maintained 2 times every single year. Gives us better pricing when there is an emergency repair, gives us priority scheduling when there is an emergency repair, but also makes those emergency repairs less and less frequent because those systems are being checked in on every 6 months to make sure that the drain lines are clear, make sure everything's clean, make sure all of our refrigerant levels are good, make sure everything's running properly the way it should. And that helps keep that maintenance cost very plannable, something we can schedule, no surprises. And that's the way we want to keep it. Again, going back to the geographic locations, we're really careful with the locations we pick for our investors. When we select a property, we're going to select based on a map. We're going to find a property. We're going to negotiate the terms. Once we get to the point where we're ready to move forward and sign a contract, we're going to drive out to the property myself. We're going to do a FaceTime or send pictures, whatever the buyer, the investor would prefer. We're going to show you that exact location that you're buying, everything about that exact house. What do the homes next to it look like? What's behind it? Is there a busy road? What's around it that could affect us long term? We're going to make sure that you're not in a flood zone. We're almost never going to buy something in an HOA. And then one of the things with LaBelle that's a key, it's further inland. It's away from those coastal areas, and it helps avoid issues when there are hurricanes from the coastal flooding. It's really not possible in LaBelle. If there was coastal flooding in LaBelle, Florida's underwater. It's one of the furthest areas away from that possible. And that helps keep the insurance costs lower as well. So all things that we're thinking about when we're selecting that property to make sure we have the best long-term success, not just, immediate success in that first year before there's a problem. Tied to that location in Florida, we don't have state income tax for that rental income for the investor. It's a landlord-friendly state. If we have trouble, evictions generally happen in 6 to 8 weeks. And when it comes to things like increases in rent or making sure that renewals happen accordingly, a lot of the laws are geared to make that happen and have a good situation for the owner, for the landlord, which is a good thing.
Justin, may I say something? Now, Justin, I look at the social media quite a bit just to see what's going on. And as investors, especially newbie investors, we are subjected to so much of the negative media, the doom and gloom headlines, housing crash bros out there, just manipulating everybody into thinking Florida is crashing, because those are clickbait housing bros out there. They want views, right? And they report distorted information about different areas of the country, including Florida. It's just laughable how people are they feed the fear, the doom and gloom situations. How to combat this constant negative bombardment by those crash porn videos out there, especially about Florida, especially about Southwest Florida sometimes. But you and I know this. The truth is overcome that. So what are your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think the first thing, you said it best. When it comes to media, social media, whatever it may be, the end goal is we need as many clicks, as many views, sell as many newspapers. They need to do something to catch your attention. And nothing catches people's attention more than disaster, than bubbles, than worst case scenario. Gets people worried, gets them to click, and that's the goal. I'm sure something you'll do. We've done a great video kind of looking at all of those myths and busting them. I think that'd be a great thing to include in the email, a link to that video as well. But I'm not seeing those doom and gloom scenarios. Inventory is up is one of the biggest ones that we see. Yes, that is true. Days on the market are up. Yes, that is true. But are they a problem? Absolutely not. Remember 2 years ago in 2022, we dealt with one of the most seller-friendly, worst markets to buy in of all time. Prices were going up by $5,000 a week. If you didn't put an offer in within 24 hours, you weren't getting the home. There was nothing to buy. So to say that there's more inventory than that, that's an obvious statement. Of course there is. We needed it. That was not healthy. To say that days on market are up, of course it is. That wasn't healthy. Selling your home in 24 hours is not a sign of a healthy market by any means. And at the end of the day, both of those things are great things for your investors who are the buyers of these homes. If there's more inventory, if there's more days on market, if the construction company needs to sell more homes, what a great buying opportunity to negotiate down on the price, to negotiate better terms. At the end of the day, when we're running pro formas, putting the performance projections together, we're going to include those insurance costs that are accurate and higher than what they were in 2022. We're going to include the better pricing. And if that projection doesn't work, we're not going to recommend you buy a home. But I'm telling you, there are so many examples of homes that will make positive cash flow from the very first day that you buy them. These new builds, they're ready to be rented immediately. They have all the blinds on the windows except for the sliding glass door, all of the appliances. They're brand new, ready to go, turnkey. And if they're going to make you money day one, I'm not really worried about if days on market are up. I'm worried about getting that home with strong appreciation potential and immediate cash flow. And that's what we have. So I'm not seeing the doom and gloom scenarios. I'm certainly not seeing the bubble that everyone loves to try and anticipate, which is one of the most impossible things of all time, right? We've truthfully had 3 to 4 bubbles in the last 100 years, depending on what statistics you look at. For someone to think that they're going to predict the next bubble 10 years after the last bubble finished, that would be incredible. And if they can, good for them. But I don't listen to anyone who thinks that they have the answer. They know when that bubble is going to happen, because I just don't think it's something you can truthfully predict. It's just not a common occurrence in the US real estate market. It's not. Again, I like the simple, boring, tested records of buying a home, using the annual investments, and just hanging on to them long term while someone else pays off that mortgage for you. Maybe that's why it's not as low risk as you could possibly have for real estate. Obviously, there's risk involved, but compared to what a lot of people are doing when there are bubbles, the flips and the Airbnbs and all these tricky ways we're trying to make money, of course, there's going to be more risk potential and a greater chance of something bad happening with those. With the boring annual rental, we're trying to put our investors in as good of a situation as possible and make it as friendly to them as we possibly can do.
Yeah, Justin, let me say this. Right now, we are a healthy, balanced market. We have in your market, there's a small window of opportunity. What I'm trying to say, what that means is balanced market right now in your area, Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, and the surrounding areas, inland and LaBelle, which you can talk about more momentarily. But we have a small window of opportunity, meaning the monthly supply of the inventory in your area, in your county, is around 4 to 5 months. It is a healthy market for right now. But let me tell you, when the mortgage rate continue to come down, it'll trigger surge in demand. Right now, there are very little competition. If you want to become a smart investor, you buy when there are little competition, because you get all the great deals that we're getting right now, because the buyers are giving you so much. The new construction builder, giving some builder, D.R. Horton in your case, or providing this amazing incentives, which you can talk about a little bit more. But I tell you what, when the mortgage rate can come down in the low 6s or in the high 5s in the next 12 to 24 months, if that would have happened, guess what? Everybody and their brother is going to come off the sideline. There'll be a lot more competition, and you're not going to get the deals anymore, because you're going to be bidding against everybody else for higher prices. You can pay for higher prices. You could be involved in bidding wars. Investors, trust us. I've been through many cycles. I've been around for more than 20 years. And my network have been investing in Florida for all these last 2 decades. I know what I'm talking about. I own rental properties in Florida in the past and currently as well. So think contrarian. When everybody's staying on the sidelines, you need to be gritty. You need to pull the trigger, because so you get the asset in place, you buy real estate and wait to buy real estate. And the deal you're getting right now with the builders buy down, when all the incentives right now, when little competition, before the bloodbath, before the floodgate will open. I know right now we already in the mortgage rate has come down to around a middle 6%, around 6.5%. If the mortgage rate can come down 3 more percentage point with the one rate cut that the Fed is going to do next month, September, maybe, and then next year, 2025, some people will predict there will be several rate cuts going to occur, and by the Federal Reserve, the floodgate is going to open. So be smart. This small window, I know it's very hard, especially for newbies out there, to think in a contrarian way. But right now, Justin, clearly is, okay, we're recording this in August 2024. Think 5 to 10 years from now. Okay, think what we just said, you and I just said today. Okay. You can say to yourself, I could have, should have, would have. I hear this vicious cycle happen all the time. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, oh, I wish, could have, should have bought. Would I listen to Mr. Yee 5, 10 years ago? I would have been a multi-millionaire by now. Don't have any kind of regrets, right? So you need to focus on your buy box, focus on your strategy, put your financial house in order, and pull trigger when everybody else is scared and is on the sideline. Because Mr. Warren Buffett said, when there's, what's that word? When everybody is fearful, be greedy. And it's time to be greedy right now. When everybody's fearful, because you're gonna get the best deals right now. And be greedy in a good way. Be a capitalist. Capitalize on opportunity. And Southwest Florida, with the population, look, a couple of years ago, the migration into Florida is about 1,200 people per day. Today, down to 1,000 people per day. Wow.
Right. If I'm trying to get clicks, I'm going to say, people are no longer moving to Southwest Florida. It's down from 22. But is it down? Going from 1,200 to 1,000 per day? That's incredible. And that's, always have to keep those things in mind. And I'll say one of the things, Mr. B, you do is you'll pick up phone and ask. I'm here every day looking at this data. You'll say, Justin, is inventory really up? Say, yeah, let's look. And how many times over the last year have I pulled up the MLS and said, all right, let's see. There's however many homes available and this many per day are selling. And when we divide that, well, there's 5 months of inventory. So yeah, it's up, but that's very healthy. Right around 6 months of inventory is a great number to be at. I don't know if we've ever had one of those calls over the last year where I've said, oh no, we have 2 years worth of inventory. It's never happened. It's always been right at that very healthy market, which is what we want to see, because that creates both the best buying opportunities. It's also good for the owners, because a healthy market is where you want to be. It means it's going to grow in a healthy manner. It's not going to have those spikes and valleys in the appreciation charts. It's just going to grow at a nice steady pace, long-term, building wealth, right? We're not trying to sell someone an opportunity to get rich next year. It's not what we do. It's about long-term wealth building, and it works. And the number of investors that tell me, Justin, when I bought that home in 2021 or 2022, I wish I just bought 5 of them. That's true in hindsight, 2020, but what are you going to say in 3 years if you don't buy today? Are you going to look back and go, man, I wish I bought another one? I'm not trying to go crazy and tell someone to overextend themselves, but trying to time a market and buy at the absolute bottom and sell at the absolute top, nobody can do that. No one does. It's about buying the trend lines. And the trend lines for the last 25 years in Southwest Florida are very strong. The appreciation that we see in Cape Coral, in LaBelle, in Naples, in Fort Myers, the markets that we work in are generally double the national average of 4 to 4.5%. Most of these markets see the upper 8% to 9% appreciation every year when you look at that 25-year history. And that's why we recommend them. Long-term historical data that says it works, not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Justin, let's cut to the chase. Let's talk about today's opportunities. I know you could talk about LaBelle. LaBelle is way in there. So the last two bullet point on this slideshow, it says landlord-friendly estate, which is always has been Florida, which is great. Emerging market path of growth. This is so important to buy deep into the suburbs where there is still low affordability and there are still entry-level homes for investors to buy, so you can cash at 25% down payments. So with that in mind, Justin, I know I'm going to put the pro forma on the body of the description. Okay, so when my database get a hold of this video newsletter, but so we don't have a pro forma to go over, but just verbally, can you go over today's opportunity? 1 or 2 properties in LaBelle, and quickly go over the numbers, look at the cash flow, why you recommend this particular house, this particular street, and what kind of incentives a builder are providing as of right now. Go ahead.
You discussed LaBelle, and anyone who's spoken to me or watched a webinar with me over the last 2 years knows I am very optimistic And I really like the LaBelle market. Long term, I think it is going to be a phenomenal opportunity for your investors. And it's for those 2 bullet points right at the bottom. We'll expand on it, but that summarizes it perfectly. Emerging markets and path of growth. LaBelle, most of the homes in that market have been built within the last 10 to 15 years. It is a new market. It is continuing to grow. We're seeing national brands continue to build locations out there. We're seeing national builders continue to move to this area to build homes. It is growing. There's no question about it. And when it comes to path of growth, LaBelle is further toward the center of the state. Coastal Florida, right along the Gulf Coast, has happened. It's over. We missed the boat 30 years ago. Okay. If you're looking at areas like coastal Naples or coastal Bonita Beach or coastal Fort Myers Beach, unless you have $10 million to play with, I don't have nothing for you. Okay. It doesn't work. And quite frankly, if you have $10 million to play with, let's talk about LaBelle because you can buy 40 homes out there instead of 1 home on Fort Myers Beach. Okay. It doesn't, it's happened and it's over. However, your everyday Floridian, your local who works here, they're not buying a $10 million home, right? We're looking for an entry level home that everybody can afford. That's what we have in LaBelle. That's that low affordability entry level. We want the lowest price homes, new construction with quality construction that we can find. And that's what D.R. Horton is offering. We're getting homes in the mid to high 200,000s in LaBelle that an everyday salaried county worker can afford. We have, when we offer them for rent, some of the lowest rental rates available on the market. And there are other builders that are building new construction in LaBelle that are offering homes for rent for $2,700, $2,800 a month. Okay, to qualify a tenant for $2,800 a month, they need to have a monthly income, $8,400 a month, about $100,000 a year. That's quite a bit depending on what industry they're in, how far into their career they are. That could be difficult to find. Whereas for us, a lot of our homes are renting for $2,200, $2,300, $2,400. That number to qualify is now down to $6,600. That's about $70,000 a year combined as a household. That's a much more attainable number. 2 entry-level employees can afford that home. That's exactly what we want. If the most tenants can afford it, and we have some of the lowest purchase prices, and someday when you sell it, you'll be one of the most competitive entry-level homes to sell. It just means we have the largest tenant pool at all times. We have the largest buyer pool when it comes times to sell it. That's a great situation. We're never going to be capped by our market and the lack of people who could buy or rent from us. And that's where we want to be.
Make total sense, Justin. What you just said this past minute makes so much sense. Wow. Beautiful. Go ahead, continue. Sorry.
And that's, I think, the biggest difference. We have a lot of investors who say, oh, what about Airbnb? Can we do Airbnb? We can. I will never recommend it. It's not the simple, boring, wealth building tool that I prefer to recommend, right? So Airbnb, we need, 4 or 5 bedroom home, fully furnished with a pool, probably on the water. Yeah, we're spending $1.5 to $3 million for this house. That's a lot of money. And yes, we get more from rent, but there's a lot more maintenance. There's a lot more management costs. Everything goes up. There's much higher taxes to pay because it's short-term rental. And when it comes time to sell it, we're trying to sell, assuming appreciation, now a $3, $4, $5 million home. There's so many less people that can buy that from us. Whereas when we buy this basic entry level everyday home, when we sell it, any potential qualified buyer can afford it, whether they're an investor or just a primary home buyer who just got their salary job and they're ready to go and buy their first home and start a family. Perfect. What a great person to sell to. Being very average in the home that you're buying, very simple, is one of the best things an investor can do, both for the renting of the home and then someday to sell it once that appreciation occurs. And that's what we have in LaBelle. We're looking at 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom homes, somewhere between 1,400 and 1,500 square feet. Purchase prices anywhere from about $265 to $285 right now. And they're renting for $2,200 to $2,300 per month. You'll see in the pro forma that Mr. Yee's going to post, it's going to give you positive cash flow year one. It's going to continue to have the rent go up year over year. We've seen in the short time that I've been managing homes in LaBelle, about 5 years, we've seen rent go up about 50%, about 10% annually. Project that out. Where does that put a $2,400 rent in 15, 20, 30 years? The cash flow on that would be phenomenal the longer that you own it. And then the appreciation is the biggest piece too. If someone else paying you every single month, you're paying that mortgage off with someone else's money every single month, taking $300, $400, $500 off the principal every single month, and the value going up on the 25-year average, 8.8% per year. So not only are you gaining more equity every year, but you're paying down that balance of someone else's money every year, building you wealth. And that's the end goal of this entire thing, is just building wealth, not just trying to make a bunch of money really quick, because that never works. And if we were promising that to you, I would tell you to steer clear. This is probably some kind of trap. It doesn't work.
Yep.
We want that long-term wealth growth.
Absolutely. What's the builder's rate buy down? Do they have what's the situation with that?
It's very difficult to say a specific program. With the way the market is right now, I wouldn't recommend just falling into whatever program is being offered. I will tell you, with D.R. Horton, they're a very large publicly traded company. They have the construction side, who builds the home and sells it. They have a title company who does all the paperwork to close the home. And they have a mortgage lender who lends the money, builds the mortgage for the home. If you use the title company and the mortgage lender, we have a very strong negotiating standpoint. They will certainly give you credit towards close. Generally, I recommend taking somewhere between $5,000 and $9,000. Any more than that, you typically can't see at all. Most mortgages cap it at about 2% of the value that you can take in a credit. And then whether it's getting them to pay points, or if it's taking money off the price of the home, or wherever it may be, there's so many different parts of the puzzle that we can manipulate to build the best deal possible for the investor. And that's a really strong opportunity to be in. It's very difficult, though, to just say, oh, yes, you're going to do this, they're going to give you this, and this is what you buy. And I just don't think it's the market to just jump into those programs. I really think it's time to buckle down, negotiate with the builder, and custom build that perfect deal for you. And even if we don't land at the perfect deal, we're going to land somewhere close to it. And that's going to be the best opportunity for the investor.
Justin, what I hear you saying is that because you have such a great relationship with the builder, D.R. Horton. By the way, I caution you guys out there, if you guys think you can go directly to a D.R. Horton builder to find these kind of deals, you're not going to get it, because these deals are mostly you cannot find in the open market, in the multiple listing service, because Justin have built such a profitable relationship with this builder, with the D.R. Horton. They gave him D.R. Horton. They give Justin the prime off market listings for us investors out there. So you really can't circumvent. You can try, but you're not going to find the deals that Justin can find because of this networking and trusting relationship with the local builders Justin has. So that is a value add, but I'm not going to say it, right? At the end of the day, 25% down payment, you get some kind of incentive. It's a case-by-case basis. At the end of the day, with 25% down payment, you will achieve positive cash flow. That is given. All right. Good.
I think that the rough estimate that I would say a buyer from your network should expect, I would think we would get about $5,000 in credit from the mortgage and title company for using their services. And then I would think that we could take somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 off the advertised price. We could pay closer to that price, get more points paid for towards the interest rate, whatever the investor chooses. But I think that would be the very rough template to expect. And you're right. I get between 1 and 3 text messages a week from D.R. Horton. They'll say, hey, so-and-so was under contract on this home. They didn't qualify for financing. We need someone to buy it in the next 30 days. Do you have anyone? And when your investors have been in touch with me and they're comfortable with the market, they're comfortable with the conditions, and are ready to pull the trigger quickly, that's when you can jump on opportunities like that where we can say, perfect, we'll do it in 30 days, but here's what you're going to give us, X, Y, Z, and really get that perfect deal. And I, again, cannot recommend it someone in us. If we're going to try and time the market and hold out and wait, we're going to have a buying frenzy if interest rates start coming down. Whereas on the other side, if we get comfortable with the market by talking to you and myself now, and we start looking into opportunities now, we can go under contract on something. They currently have opportunities that don't close until December or January. Lock in the price now with that contract. Let's wait and see what happens at the end of this year. I don't know if there's many people thinking interest rates are going up. I don't know how much they come down. We don't know, but I do feel the overall expectation that they will come down. Let's lock in that price. Let's let rates come down. And when you close, it's only going to improve the numbers already work. And you'll see that in the pro forma today.
We have a few minutes left. Justin, what are some important things you'd like to recap and go over the numbers? We already went over the numbers, right? Anything else?
The most important thing, I'm not selling you something saying, call in the next 5 minutes and buy this today. I'm just saying, here's the opportunity we have. Here's the services we offer. And here's all of the positive referrals that will tell you we do a great job. If you have any interest in investing in real estate in Southwest Florida, even if it's not for another 2 years, get in touch with Mr. Yee. He's going to put you in contact with me. Over that time, we can have as many calls as you'd like. We'll discuss the market, discuss our processes, discuss the opportunities, and get you comfortable with that idea so that when it's time, when you're ready to pull that trigger and buy, whether that's tomorrow or in 2 years, you're fully understanding what you're getting into. You're very comfortable with the idea. You can make that decision quickly and you can buy. I can tell you from experience, the investors who handle this process like that are the ones who are the most successful. They're the happiest with their decision and continue to come back to buy more or send their friends and family over to continue to buy. And that's where we want to keep all of our investors. We want to make sure everyone is that happy that they're sending other friends and family our way to do the same thing they've done because they're so happy with their decision.
Justin, can you put back to the full screen right now? The actual pro forma will be on the body of the description once this video newsletter will become available. So, Justin, as we conclude this, my takeaway from this, from today's podcast is such that smart investors, our network investors, you know who you are out there. You need to hear the most credible data, the most credible source. And you need to surround yourself with a trusted team. That's so important. You guys are 3,000 miles away. You need to find someone you can trust, that you like, that have your best interest at hand. And again, one of my team members, Justin Zawodny from Southwest Florida, is that person in this particular market. He has boots on the ground. He live it. He breathe it. He's been very successful with our investors for the reasons we just stated over and over again. So just get off the sidelines, get your financial house in order, get your loan pre-approval. Come to me, talk to me first. We do a complimentary consultation real quick. And when I deem that you're ready to pull the trigger, after we consult with each other, then I will send you to Justin. And Justin will help you every step of the way. If you want to visit the area, Justin will be more than happy to show you around. We have, from time to time, we have a number of investors that went to tour the area with Justin, and you don't have to go there because we already trust Justin. You can buy, like I said, remotely, sight unseen, potentially. I know it's to some of you very scary, but look, our network been around for so many years because we surround ourselves with an honest, trusted team that we have built for so many years within my network. We're here for you. Take action, overcome fear, and pull the trigger because 5 to 10 years later, if you buy in this market, you're going to thank Justin. Going to be around 5 to 10 years from now or longer. Look how young he is. He's young enough to be my son, perhaps, I don't know, but Justin have longevity in the market. He can be around forever, right? So not only to take care of your asset that you purchase in his market, but he can take care of your children once you do a generational transfer of your asset or your property. He just going to be around to take care of your children and your grandchildren for the next several decades. Isn't that cool? Isn't that amazing? to have a great team on the ground that is going to stay the course long term. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say. What one quick final recap from you, Justin, before we'll conclude?
It's the same as usual. I think we have a very unique opportunity right now, a very strong opportunity for a buyer who's ready to pull the trigger. Again, any interest in Southwest Florida, any questions, any concerns, get in touch with Mr. E. He's going to put you in touch with me. We'll spend as much time as you'd like reviewing the market, talking about any concerns you have, talking about our processes, whether you want to come into town to see things in person, do a FaceTime, Zoom from the site, see the home over the phone. We will do whatever it takes so that you are completely comfortable with the decision, completely understanding of what type of investment you're making, and make it as successful and transparent and fun and exciting as it possibly can be. We don't want this to be a stressful situation for anybody. We want you to enjoy growing your wealth and making these decisions and just keeping everyone happy. So yeah, definitely contact Mr. E today so you can get in touch with me and start exploring Southwest Florida.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Justin, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I'll see you on the other side. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.